Again, if we look back to President Trump's first term, hourly workers did better than supervisory workers. The bottom 50% of households had their net worth increase faster than the top 10%. And as I said, I believe that the households that you're describing there will be receiving substantial tax refunds. And again, as you said, many people have said to me, oh, so what's $1,000? That, as you said, to these households, $1,000 is a substantial fill-up. They can put it toward savings, or they could pay down debt. As I said, the Biden administration torched the financial standing of these households. The average CPI PCE increase was 22 or 23%. But for these households, which had a different bundle of goods and services than the indices, their costs, whether it was groceries, autos, rent, went up between 35 and 37%, and we are working every day to get those costs down.
Q line. So do you think there is Q line exists in the U.S.?
I can't.
Do you think the Q line for people that have meeting a huge expense, let's make from middle class to financial rule exists in U.S.?
Sorry, I don't understand the question. I'm not sure you do either.
Guys, just so we know, we're at a 5-minute warning, so we got to keep moving. We have time for one or two more questions. Right behind the gentleman with the blazer with his hand up, please. Thank you.
Thank you for the floor. Raphael Zwalen with the Swiss News Agency. I have a question on trade with Switzerland. Do you plan to start a negotiation for an agreement this week? And do you have meeting plans with Swiss officials? Thank you.
Yes, I'm meeting President Parmalat, who I've had a very good relationship with since he's vice president. I think he is a very seasoned trade hand. I think he's very experienced on finance, and the Swiss-U.S. trade agreement is well along the road and progressing very well.
Great. And this is going to be our last question today. Guys, remember, there is a press briefing tomorrow for those who don't get one in. I'll take one from the back, ma'am, in the blazer. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you for taking my questions. I'm Malin from the Swedish business newspaper Dagens Industri. I just wonder, do you consider Europe to be an ally of the United States? And if so, I mean, how much economic pain are you prepared to inflict on Europeans and Americans alike in order for the United States to get their hands on the territory of an ally?
Again, I think that question is a miss of the false alternative. You're once again going to the farthest point, a maximalist position, that we are in the middle of the President Trump's policies. And of course, Europe is an ally. The U.S. NATO membership is unquestioned. We are partners in trying to stop this tragic war between Russia and Ukraine. But that does not mean that we cannot have disagreements on the future of Greenland.
Yeah, but if there's a protracted trade war between the U.S. and Europe...
But again, you say, if there's a protracted trade war, why are we jumping there? Why are you taking it to the worst case? Calm down the hysteria. Take a deep breath. This is where we were last year. I'm sure you would have asked me the same question if we were here on April 2nd. And you know what? It all worked out. The economies are fine. We have a very good trade agreement. And I think our relations have never been closer. If anyone in this room wants to go back and study history, has anyone done that? What happened in post-World War II? It was not a straight line. Konrad Adenauer did not always agree with the U.S. presidents. Charles de Gaulle certainly did not agree with the U.S. positions. But that did not mean that we were not strong allies against the Soviet Union, did it? You want to answer that? Did it?
So what's your message to European business leaders then who are now hesitating about the financial relation they have with the U.S.?
That it's been 48 hours. As I said, sit back, relax. I am confident that the leaders will not escalate and that this will work out in a manner that ends up in a very good place for all, for national security, for the U.S., and for Europe. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. That's going to be the last question for today. We have to restage this room. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. What I will again remind you all, there is another press briefing. Everyone who is here today is invited tomorrow. I would project